Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Fergie and I'm a UX designer based in London. Today I'm partnering with Bravo again to bring you this video about how you can use the Payments with Stripe feature. We'll go over how to create an e-commerce app to sell physical products, we'll get the product data from Airtable, and create a checkout page for each product. We already have our design in Adobe XD, so we're going to use those all-important Bravo tags to make a working e-commerce experience and view it using the Bravo Vision app to test it out on our devices. In order to implement this, you'll need to set up a Stripe account and have an Ole or Bravissimo Bravo plan. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so here we are in XD with our designs. And you might recognize this from the last video where we were creating the form and setting up the API so that our users could book classes and amend their schedule by removing classes. Now we're going to take this app further today by adding an e-commerce store section for users to purchase equipment, accessories, and merchandise. So first things first, we need to go through and add the all-important Bravo tags. So let us start with our product page here. So I've just called this page store. I've put a search and filter because I want users to be able to maybe find something specific that they might be looking for. If there's quite a lot of things here, that's usually a pretty helpful feature. And you can see I've got this little card design here, and then just the navigation bar that I was using, same as before. To get started, here we have our top bar. So we all know this from the previous videos. This is just container top bar. And then what we want to have here is our search. So at the moment, this is just a container. I'm just going to call this search so that I know what it is. And then inside of here, you'll see we have the different things. We have the text field, the icon, and the rectangle for the search bar background. And then there's also an area so that Bravo knows what size to make this container. For us to have a search functionality, you can see I've already got the tag here, and we can find that underneath actions. So if I just tap here and open this section, and if we scroll down, we will find here search and filter. So we need to add this tag, component input text, action filter, and this goes on the text layer. So this is the tag that we have added here already in advance. So that's how we have our search working. And now to get on to listing our products. We're going to do this in a very similar way to how we were displaying our recommended classes and our available classes. We need these to be a list. So because we're going to be using Airtable as our database source, we don't need to create this product tile for each and every item. We just need to do it once, and then when we connect the API and bind the data to the UI, then Bravo is going to do all of that for us. But let me show you what I have within my product tile here. Firstly, you'll see I've named it as a container. I have the price, which this is just for the pound symbol. Then what the price would actually be as a text field. I have the product name, and I've made this flexo, and that tag means that that text area will expand if a product name is longer and won't just fit on this one line. It will wrap and go on to the next line here. I have a photo, we have the background, and then of course, because it's a container, we have the area. And that is all we need to create a list of all of our products. So you can see not too many tags to worry about there. Once we have selected our product, we're going to go to the specific product page. And this is where all of our Stripe payments tags come in. So you'll see here in my top nav bar, here I've added the product name, we've got our image, and we've got our price along with an extra text field for that currency symbol. And then you can see here I have a little bit of a sort of form going on. We've got some text input fields as well as some buttons. If I just move my nav bar layer out of the way, you'll see we have a pay now button and a cancel button. So let's start adding all of these tags. Again, we're going to go to our master tag list, and all the way at the bottom you'll see a section here called one-time payments. And this is where we're going to get everything that we need. So you can see all of these other tags that we might want to be using for creating a payment. And what we'll do today is I'll show you the minimum fields that Stripe requires. But if there are other ones you want, for example, you might want to be adding an address, or maybe you want to add collect some metadata. So maybe you want to let your customers add a comment to their order for some reason, then you can also do that with that sort of metadata field. Okay, so that's where the tags are. And the things we're going to collect are name, credit card number, phone number, and email. And now you see I have these little pink input hidden texts off of my artboard, just here on my pasteboard. And that is because that is a reminder for something very important we need to make sure we include in our design. So you'll see here that this text actually has some Bravo tags added to it. And this is because I wanted to show you exactly what we need to add, but actually when it's on your artboard and in your design, it can just be transparent. It doesn't need to be a visible layer. This is basically so that we can bind the currency and then also the amount to the product page, so that Bravo can tell Stripe how much to charge the customer for this particular product. So firstly, you'll see we have one for the amount, and then we have another one for currency. And if I go into my artboard, I just expand this out, you'll see I've got them here, and they're literally just invisible, and we can move them anywhere we want to. They don't need to be in a specific place, they just need to be on the artboard. So I have mine here. If I again just turn up the opacity, you'll see that just text layer there, and I've basically just taken off and put that down to 0%. So that's quite important. Now I am in the UK, so I have set the currency to GBP, Great British Pounds, but you might want to set yours to euros, which you would just put EUR. So basically you just need to add in the currency there, US dollars, USD. So just make sure you're adding that here. And then again, for the Stripe amount, we don't actually need to put a number in here like I have on this example, because we're actually going to bind that when we move into our data binding section. Okay, so those are the first two most important fields we need to have on this page. Once you've added those, you could just go ahead, like I've said, turn off that opacity and continue designing your screen. Okay, so I have a name field. We need to collect the user's name, and then Stripe will make sure that that is correct and matches the credit card that they're entering. So here again, I just have my rectangle, and then I have a text layer called name. And what we were doing before with our forms, if you remember, is we were using component input text. And for certain types of form fields, you would specify exactly what it is. So what we need to use is component input text. And then because this is the customer name, we use Stripe customer name. And let me show you that over here in the tags list. Okay, so we want to find the customer name field right here, Stripe customer name. And then you'll see here in the what is it column that you also need to have that component input text. It doesn't matter which one you put first, as long as both of these Bravo tags are on that text layer, then everything will work just fine. Okay, so the other ones we have are credit card number, phone number, and email. So let's go across and have a look at those. So we can see credit card input needs to be component input Stripe credit card. So that is what we have over here, again on the text layer. Component input Stripe credit card. Most important, put it on the text layer, don't put it on the group, don't put it on the shape layer. And then phone number, similar to name, we need to make sure we have component input text, and then it's Stripe customer phone. And you guessed it, it's pretty similar for email. We have the component input text tag, and then followed with Stripe customer email. And you'll find all of these here. So if you also wanted to create perhaps a donation application, perhaps it's raising money for charity, You could use this currency input field, you could use the amount input field so that the user could specify those themselves and make a donation of the amount that they wish. Okay, then once we've got all of our form fields set up like that, we of course need to have our Pay Now button. And what this will do is straight away make that Stripe payment. So you'll notice we don't have a basket, it is just buying that one single product. So if we have a look at the tag on our button here, you'll see we have Action, Stripe, Checkout. Okay, so you'll see that one down here. Checkout action is at the bottom of that payments list of tags, and this sends the Stripe checkout data. And that's all you need to add there. And then my cancel button is just going to work like a back button. And then once that order is successful, I want the users to see a screen that tells them, yep, this has all gone through, your order has been successful. And in the case of this yoga studio, users will actually be collecting their purchases from the studio. So it'll basically be paid for and reserved, and they can pick it up on their next visit for their class. So I've then added a button here that just goes back to the products page. Okay, so once we go into prototype mode, we need to make sure that our product is connected to the product page. So we just connect, I've used the image here as the anchor point, so whichever product image I click on, it will go to the product page, and because we will be using Airtable, it is going to make sure that whichever product we click on here is the same here. So we don't need to create this product page multiple times for each item. And then you can see there aren't any links on this one because that's all going to be done inside of Bravo. And then here, when we have our order successful, we just want this button to go back to our product screen. And just like that, we have now set up an e-commerce within our app. Now I'm just going to move my navigation to be back where it needs to be. There we go. And it is time for us to sync with Bravo. So because this is a project I've already used, and this is the same file I used before, Bravo recognizes it and says, hey, you can update yoga project, which is exactly what we're going to do. And if this were a new project, or maybe I wanted to create it as a separate app for test purposes, then I could just go ahead and create that new project here. So let's click update and then go and start looking at our database in Airtable. Okay, so here we are inside of Airtable, and you can see I have a base set up for Stripe payments with all of my yoga products that are going to be available for purchase. So all I have are 3 columns because I wanted to keep it simple. You can of course add a product description and anything else that you may require. So my first column is my product name, and you'll see that this is just a single line text. Same goes for my price. And then I have a picture, which is the attachment type. And those are just photos of products. So once you've gone ahead and created this base within inside of Airtable, we need to connect it to Bravo. So we're going to go over to our account, we're going to log in and go to our data collections. Now, because we're using Airtable, this is just going to be really very simple, and it'll be done in 30 seconds. We're going to press new collection here and use the Airtable wizard. It's going to ask you for a share URL. So we can go back to our Airbase here and click this share button, click base, and then you're going to want to turn on sharing and copy this URL right here. And we're just going to paste that in and press continue. It's then going to ask for your API key. Now to find that, you're going to want to just click on your little avatar in the top right corner here that takes you to your account overview page, and you'll see the API key is right here. So again, you just want to copy this and paste it into the field here. When you hit complete, Bravo is going to go and fetch all of the details and bring it into a data collection for us. So once it's done, hit complete and you'll get a screen a little bit like this. You can, of course, rename this collection if you prefer. So I'm going to call this my Mystic Yoga Payments, so that it doesn't get confused with any of my other apps. And you'll see here we have a list and then we have a detail, and table 1 is just the name of my table here within Airbase. You could call that products, you can call this whatever you like to make it easier. And we have the full list and then we have the detail. Now all you can do is hit send and you can see it will receive all of the data that we need. Now I'm going to go through and uncheck all of these extra excess fields from the image that we just don't need. So I'm going to go through and click all of these. The only ones we need to keep for the image is the .url and also the .id. So when we go to selected data here, we have a much easier list to work with. Now, the important thing to notice here is our data records ID name is an ID in lowercase. So we need to go to our details table here and just make sure that inside of these curly braces, ID is also in lowercase, because if that is in capitals, then there's going to be a mix match and it's not going to work correctly. Again, we can hit send to make sure that that connection works and pulls in all of our data. We can see that it does, and there's not really anything more we need to do here. If you want to know more about setting up an API for GET, POST and DELETE requests, then watch my previous video. You'll find it on the Bravo Studio channel along with many other videos, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now that we have set up and connected our database to Bravo, we want to go ahead and connect our Stripe account. So all you need to do is open your project from the dashboard, go to the Settings tab and select Stripe. I've already done it for this project, so let me show you on another one. So again, just go to Settings, Stripe, and you'll see this Connect with Stripe button that you just have to click. And then basically you need to enter your email address that you've created your account with and just sign in, and then it will all be connected. Once everything is successful and you're back in your settings panel, you'll see that this is now a disconnect button, and that means that it has been set up correctly. Okay, so we're going to go to our screens and we're going to bind the data from our Airtable database to our UI. So first up, we're going to create that product page with the list of all of our products. So first up, we need to select our database that we have just created. So we're going to select the data collection Mystic Yoga Stripe Payments. And because this is a list of all of our products, we want to make sure that we're telling it to use the list GET request, not the detail. So we're going to select list, and then we're going to go and look at our layers down here and click on our product card and then select records. And then for each item within our product card, we're just going to bind it to the right piece of information. So the photo is going to be the photo URL, product name is our product name, and the price is our price. And that is all we need to do for our product list page. Now let's go into that actual detailed product page and see what we need to do. First up, we're going to again select our Mystic Yoga Stripe Payments data collection, but this time we're going to select detail. So no matter what product we've selected from our product list, we're now going to have the detail for that specific product. So in my top bar, the first thing I want to do is make the product name the product name. So again, I'm just going to select product name from my list here. And then from page content, I'm also going to select price where I want the price to be displayed, and select the picture URL where I want the image to be displayed. Next, we need to go and find that hidden layer that we added earlier for the amount. So that is this one here, Stripe Hidden Amount. Remember, it's that invisible text layer. So make sure you name the layer with Stripe Hidden Amount, and it will be much easier to find when you get to this stage. And then all you're going to do is select price from this drop down here. And that is it. You'll see we have our payment button as well. So this knows that it is going to send the payment to Stripe. And on success, I want this to go to our order successful screen. So if I select here, you can see I've got all the different screens. I want it to go to that one. And if there's an error, I would like to show the alert that, oops, something didn't quite work. So you can just add in your errors here. Okay, so that is that screen done and ready as well. And then because we've already added that prototype link in XD for our successful screen, that back to products button will already go back to our product list page. Now for the exciting part. Let's preview our app using Bravo Vision on our device and test to make sure it works as we planned. And here in Bravo Vision, we can see that everything has loaded successfully. All of our product images, names, and prices in that list view. And we can select one to go into the product details page and start entering our payment information. Now the card here I'm using is a fake Visa card for testing purposes only. Okay, time to hit that Pay Now button. And just like that, we have completed an order successfully, and we can now navigate back to the product page. Bravissimo! You've created your first e-commerce app with an API data connection. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next, and don't forget to like and subscribe.